Hello everyone. Today we are starting with a new chapter in history, that is lesson number 10, Rise of Independent Kingdoms. Let's begin with this chapter.
The 18th century was a period of transition for India. The Mughal Empire had started to decay during the last 25 years of the reign of Aurangzeb, when he was preoccupied with wars in the Deccan. In this chapter, we will study the following concepts. 1. The later Mughals and foreign invaders. 2. Rise of independent states. Decline of Mughal Empire. We have seen that the decline of the Mughal Empire started during the reign of Aurangzeb. This decline was hastened by the later Mughal emperors who proved to be inefficient and worthless. Aurangzeb's successors were weak and incapable rulers. As a result, the Mughal Empire began to disintegrate. The country soon broke up into many small kingdoms. The Subedars, governors of the Mughal provinces, began to assert their independence. They removed the old zamindars and appointed new ones who were expected to be loyal to them. The provincial governors then engaged in warfare with their neighboring provinces. Rise of independent states. These were caused by a number of factors. Aurangzeb had depleted the financial resources by fighting a long war in the Deccan. Disintegration of imperial administration. Emergence of powerful mansabdars. Decline in periodic remission of revenue to the capital by provincial governors. Revolt of peasants due to rise in tax. Invasion of foreigners who weakened the center. Rivalry amongst the different factions of nobles to gain more favors. Bengal. The province of Bengal was the first to become independent of Mughal rule in the 18th century. It was ruled by Murshid Quli Khan from 1717 to 1727. He established his capital at Dhaka and named it Murshidabad. He was succeeded by Shams-ud-Dawla 1727 to 1739 CE, Alivardi Khan 1739 to 1756 CE, and Siraj-ud-Dawla 1756 to 1757 CE. The above Nawabs reorganized the administration of the province. They dismissed the corrupt and inefficient Jagirdars and encouraged the growth of agriculture, trade, and industry. They appointed new Jagirdars who were mostly Bengali Hindus. The Nawabs granted loans to poor cultivators but did not decrease the revenue demands. Thus, though the revenue of the province increased, the condition of the peasants remained deplorable. Nawab Alivardi Khan was greatly troubled by the Marathas. He agreed to pay tribute to them on the condition that they would not disturb the peace of Bengal. Bengal. The Nawabs of Bengal, however, met with great opposition from the British East India Company. After the death of Alivardi Khan, the new ruler, Siraj-ud-Dawla, was defeated by the British at the Battle of Plassey in 1757 CE. Siraj-ud-Dawla was captured and put to death. The company became the real master of the whole of Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa. Awadh. The provinces of Awadh, Bengal, and Mysore also came into existence as a result of revolts by Subedars. The Suba of Awadh became independent in 1722 CE, when a Persian Shia named Sadat Khan was appointed the governor of Awadh by Muhammad Shah, the Mughal emperor. Sadat Khan rapidly rose to fame and power and was summoned to Delhi at the time of Nadir Shah's invasion. He was deputed by the king to negotiate with Nadir Shah and persuade him to desist from destroying the city and return to his country on payment of a large amount of money. But Sadat Khan failed in his mission. Nadir Shah did not get the promised amount of money. The enraged marauder vented his anger on the population of Delhi. He ordered a general massacre, which continued for 15 days. Sadat Khan committed suicide out of shame and humiliation. The next Nawab of Awadh was Safdarjung, who was also appointed Wazir of the Mughal Empire. He played an important role in the politics of the country. He was succeeded by his son Shuja-ud-Dawla. The state of Hyderabad was founded by Chinquilic Khan. In 1761, it was ruled by Nizam Ali. He was granted the title of Nizamul Mulk Asaf Jah by the Mughal Emperor. So, his dynasty came to be known as Asaf Jahi dynasty. His successors were called Nizams of Hyderabad. Though the Nizams never declared their freedom from Mughal rule, they governed Hyderabad state as independent rulers. In 1798, the Nizam of Hyderabad came under the protection of the East India Company. The state remained under British rule till 1947. It was finally merged with the Republic of India in 1948. Punjab. The 12 Missals of Guru Arjan Dev. Missal is a word that means alike and is akin to a fighting clan. There are 12 missals of Sikhs in Punjab. Maharaja Ranjit Singh's ability to get the 12 missals to cooperate was a critical factor in the ascendancy of his becoming the ruler of northwest India. Sikh missals: Fulkain Missal, Aluwalia Missal, Bhangi Missal, Kanhaiya Missal, Ramgadiya Missal, Singhpuria Missal, Panchgadiya Missal, Nishanwalia Missal, Sukarchekia Missal, Dalewalia Missal, Nakai Missal, Shahidan Missal. In the beginning of the 18th century, Punjab was ruled by the Mughal Subedars, but as a result of the invasion of Nadir Shah and Ahmad Shah Abdali, the Mughals lost control over Punjab. This was a golden opportunity for the Sikhs to assert their supreme political power over a large part of Punjab. They first attempted to occupy Punjab under the command of their great leader Banda Bahadur, but failed. Banda Bahadur was captured and executed by the Mughals. But the Sikhs organized themselves into Dal Khalsa and continued their struggle. They ultimately occupied a large part of Punjab, which they divided into 12 chiefdoms or missals, each under a Sikh chief or missaldar. By the end of the 18th century, a Sikh chief, Ranjit Singh, occupied Lahore and gradually carved out an independent Sikh kingdom extending from Peshawar in the west to Satluj in the east. However, some small Sikh states, including Patiala, Nabha, Jind and Faridkot on the other side of the Satluj, came under British protection in 1806. Rajputs. Emperor Akbar had won the loyalty and support of the Rajputs, but in the time of Aurangzeb, they had risen in revolt against him when he tried to interfere in the internal affairs of their states. After the death of Aurangzeb, they tried to free themselves from the control of the Mughal emperors, but there was no unity among them. Since they did not join hands to fight against the Mughals, they could not free themselves from the Mughal yoke. They remained nominally under Mughal rule. The most important Rajput ruler was Savai Raja Jai Singh of Amber. He built the magnificent city of Jaipur. The city was built of pink stone, which is why it came to be called the Pink City. He also built astronomical observatories, all called Jantar Mantar at Delhi, Jaipur, Banaras, Ujjain and Mathura. With the rise of the Jats and Marathas, the Rajputs lost their influence in the political affairs of the country. The fact that they were constantly at war with each other did not help matters at all. This constant warfare left them too weak and disorganized to fight against a common enemy. Ultimately, in 1750, they had to suffer the ignominy of coming under the protection of the Marathas.
Rise of the Marathas under Shivaji. The Maratha Empire or the Maratha Confederacy was an Indian imperial power that existed from 1674 to 1880. The Marathas were people who belonged to the warrior race and inhabited the hilly regions of the Deccan in and around Maharashtra. In the earlier periods, they mainly worked for the sultans of the Deccan region. The hill forts and hillocks of their territory provided the Marathas optimum coverage against their enemies. The mobility of the Marathas helped them develop a form of military tactic called guerrilla warfare. The Marathas began to dislike the Muslims for their atrocities. The spread of the Bhakti movement created a sense of oneness amongst them. The leaders of the Bhakti such as Tukaram, Ramdas, Eknath and Baman Pandit taught them that devotion to God was the only salvation and inculcated a need to create a strong nation. Under these circumstances arose a strong leader amongst the Marathas called Shivaji. Under his profound leadership, the Marathas resisted the Mughal authority and became strong. An aristocrat of the Maratha Bhosle clan, Shivaji was born in 1627 AD in the hill fort of Shivneri near Pune in Maharashtra. Shivaji's father, Shahaji Bhosle, was a Maratha general who served the Sultan of Bijapur. Shivaji's mother was Jijabai and he was extremely devoted to her. Shahaji meanwhile married a second wife, Tukabai Mohite, and moved to take an assignment in Karnataka, leaving Shivaji and his mother in Pune. During his childhood, Shivaji was brought up in a religious environment by his mother. He learned the epics Ramayana and Mahabharata through his mother. His tutor Guru Dadoji Kondev played an important role in shaping his character. His guru trained him in horse riding, warfare, and the art of administration. Shivaji desired to establish an independent kingdom of his own. In 1646 AD, he defeated the Sultan of Bijapur and conquered the forts of Purandhar, Raigad, Torna and Kalyan. In 1659 AD, the Sultan deputed Afzal Khan with the goal of subduing Shivaji and bringing him dead or alive. Shivaji learned of Afzal Khan's treacherous plans and made his own preparations to meet him. When they finally met at the appointed place, Afzal Khan embraced Shivaji in a tight grip and tried to kill him with his right hand. Shivaji, however, was swift, and using his Bagh-Nak dagger that resembled tiger claws, he fatally wounded Afzal Khan. This event increased Shivaji's power and prestige. In 1660 AD, Aurangzeb sent the governor of Deccan, Shaista Khan, to subdue Shivaji. On his journey, Shaista Khan camped at Pune. Shivaji entered the camp at night with the guise of a marriage party and attacked Shaista Khan, who was asleep. Shaista Khan, however, escaped with losing his thumb in the fight. Aurangzeb once again sent Raja Jai Singh to defeat Shivaji. Raja Jai Singh and his army surrounded Shivaji on all sides, and helplessly, Shivaji agreed to negotiate terms with him. Together they signed the Treaty of Purandhar in 1665 AD. Jai Singh had persuaded Shivaji to meet Aurangzeb in his court. Shivaji and his son Sambhaji reached Agra in 1666 AD. However, they were not treated properly. Shivaji, who was upset with the disrespect, opposed to it and was imprisoned by Aurangzeb. Shivaji pretended to be ill and escaped from prison by hiding in a large basket of apples. Enraged, Aurangzeb called him a mountain rat and became a bitter enemy of Shivaji. Shivaji got himself coronated at Raigad and assumed the title of Chhatrapati in 1674 AD. A new Maratha empire came into existence. However, the coronation ceremony depleted the royal treasury. To overcome this financial crisis, Shivaji invaded the Carnatic region. He captured Jinji, Vellore, and many other important forts. His kingdom included a large part of Mysore, Konkan, and Maharashtra. Unfortunately, Shivaji did not live long and passed away in 1680 AD at Raigad. His reign lasted for only 6 years.
So here we are finished with this chapter. Thank you.